Are you trying to be a successful real estate agent or a business owner in the upcoming year? There are a few key things I'm going to be going over that you need to focus on daily, weekly, and monthly to have a chance in this upcoming year. My name is SPENCERHSU. I am a Bay Area real estate agent, and my team has done over $250 million of transactions in the last few years alone. So this video will help you, especially as I have personally gone through one of the most difficult years that there has been in 2023. What are the things I'm doing and what are the things that you should do to be successful moving forward? Number one, remember you are in this as a career. So while we're going to be focusing on the daily and the weekly things to be successful, you still have to have the strategic focus of a long term. So what does that mean though? You need to have long-term goals. Maybe you want to do more on the seller side. Maybe you want to do more on the buyer side. Maybe you want to tweak some marketing. You should map that out, and then you should allocate your daily, weekly, monthly tasks to try to accomplish those metrics and those numbers. So give you an example. Let's say I want to do 10 extra sellers a year. Well, what should you do? How are you going to find those sellers? Is it your sphere? Is it door knocking? Is it mailers? Well, if it's those, what are the real numbers that you need to do to be able to work backwards to get those objectives, right? So these are all the things that you can then break down. So if you understand farming is less than 1% responsive, well, you better send over, and let's say it takes you a few interviews to land a role, maybe you got to do 1,000 monthly mailers to have that success, right? So you have to kind of figure out, one, what is the real metric to get to those numbers? And then two, what are the things you need to do and money-wise to be able to achieve those targets? Number two, you gotta be really ingrained with the local community, but also understanding what are the local things happening. Because things are a lot more difficult, you gotta be more focused on being that local thought leader, whether it's about the market, it's about stats, about activity happening in a neighborhood or city, new developments that are happening. Like, these are all value-add things that a lot of people can take advantage of, that a lot of people can learn and feel value for, because you're basically being this digital mayor. So you really got to make sure, are you tracking the numbers a lot more closely so that when you're talking to a specific client that is looking in that area, they'll have a higher chance of being successful. Next, restructure your day? What does your day actually look like, right? Are you actually allocating the amount of time that you need to be successful? If you look at your year to date, compare that as to what the ideal calendar and schedule should look like. So this is a really good time to revamp things, reorganize things, and prioritize things accordingly. What I usually do, morning, I reply to emails, I check out the markets, any sort of interesting news that occurred. I spend that for my first hour. Then for the next 3 hours, I just do prospecting. Combination of however you want to prospect, whether it's existing leads, whether it's advocates, whether it's your cold calling, whatever the outbound activity is, that's your opportunity to send things out. Afternoons, I have hopefully a lot of meetings and appointments. If not, I'm doing showings. If not, I'm creating content like this to try to bring in clients, right? I'm commenting on people's social media. I want to stay engaged. I want to know what is going on with their life. I want to cheer them on, right? These are all activities that are done to try to get yourself in a better position than you were a day ago. And ultimately, if you can achieve 1 to 2 appointments a day, you're going to be extremely successful. So really focus on what does that perfect day look like and organize that accordingly. Next, talk about, is your overall structure and your tech stack in place? So I look at tech stack and I look at the stack of your business from an operations perspective. Do you have all the right tools that you need? Are there some that you can cut because they're overlap and you don't really use? The easiest way is just look at your credit card statement. Look at your monthly expenses. Do those all make sense for you to do? If it doesn't make sense, just cut it out immediately. If it does, decide, do you want to double down or triple down on something that is working? So reallocate your budget and focus on your tech stack, what is needed. For my case, it's kind of minimal. I have a good CRM, so I have CRM Interactive. There's a link in the bottom for an affiliate link. I use Sisu, that's more of an analytics tool. Link is also on the bottom. I use that at least weekly. My transaction coordination team uses it daily to just track progress of things. I use it a lot to kind of see the analytics of like how my money is spent, what's the return on things, what are the numbers of things. Those are your key things. The rest are like value add things that you can add on top of it. Maybe it's Realtor.com, Zillow leads, whether it's other platforms that do different seller activities. I do use a separate tool called HomeBot, so that's something you can add. I use another tool called Client Giant. That's also another tool that can get you in front of people continuously, and so you're top of mind. So there's a lot of these other side things that you can add as part of your mix. Oh, the other thing I'll bring up, I use Notion when it comes to project management. It is a little bit more complicated than most, but it's a good tool to keep organized because I produce a lot of content on this channel. I produce content on the real estate channel, and I also have a lot of content like that's on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and things, so on and so forth. So a good place to consolidate all those information will be very beneficial for yourself to determine what is key. The other thing, to be fair, think about your brokerage. And I think about this from a finance perspective. Is your brokerage adding the value that you could be getting versus if you left for someone else? Think about whatever you're at. Compare that to EXP. EXP is where I'm at. I've been there for 4 years. We have a commission cap of $16,000 a year. And if you're a top producer like myself that does over 500,000 GCI or does equivalent to about 25 transactions plus or more, you have the ability to earn that back in terms of stock, so you can get a lot of that back. And so you should do that math. Whatever your split is, this is the time to do it. See how much you're giving to the other side, and is that brokerage giving you that much support? If they're giving you admin, marketing stuff, like all of that can be outsourced, can be brought in onshore to yourself, and then that person will be even more productive than someone you're just using from time to time. Or if you want to save even more money, what I do, like for all these videos and thumbnails, I use somebody at Fiverr and I pay them per video, right? So there's a lot of ways to like minimize it, so then you can then reinvest that into other things, into events, into parties, into networking events, etc., right? So there are so many different ways to do it, but the key is, what are the numbers you're actually getting? How does that compare? And can someone like myself that's a coach and a mentor, can I help you accelerate your growth and your learnings so that you have the best chance of being successful? So these are the key things that I'm doing myself, but I'm also telling my team members, everyone that's part of my EXP family, and even you, in terms of what you should be focusing on and where you should be reprioritizing your goals as we move on to the next year. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to go over a strategy call together about how I can personally help you achieve your goals, whether it's just re-strategizing, whether it's just another opinion about what you're doing and what you're not doing, give me a call or text at 408-547-4590, and let's talk about how we can help you with your goals. See you next video.